All right. Hello and welcome to the Miracle Morning for Network Marketers audio series / podcast, depending on where you might be finding this information and this content at the moment. My name is Pat Petrini. I'm the co-author of the #1 best-selling book, The Miracle Morning for Network Marketers. And in creating this book, we reached out to some of the very top network marketers in the world, and we interviewed them, some of the top performers, both people that have been around the network marketing world for years and even decades, as well as people that are fairly newcomers that have just been around for the last few years, but have had extreme success in those just those last few years. And we reached out, we interviewed them. That's what this series is all about. You're going to hear interviews from a number of different people. And in these interviews, we dive into not only their tips, strategies, techniques, things that have really accelerated their business, but also, and of course this was sort of the thesis, the theme of the book is the Miracle Morning for Network Marketers. We delve into their morning routines and their daily rituals, things that they consider to be critical for success that are really important for them to do every single day. And what we found, the whole concept of the Miracle Morning is that not every successful person does all of these different things every day, but just about every successful person does some of these things every day, has some of these daily rituals, oftentimes morning rituals, and so we dive into that in this audio series. Now, if you're not familiar with the book, you can check out the book, of course, at Amazon. Just go to Amazon and search for The Miracle Morning for Network Marketers. You'll find it right there. And then, of course, you can also go to our website. You may be listening to this recording right there on our website, but if you're not, if you're finding it somewhere else, go to tmm4networkmarketers.com. That's TMM, like the Miracle Morning, FOR, networkmarketers.com. Again, my name is Pat Petrini. I hope you're going to enjoy this interview. I know you're going to enjoy this interview. You might want to have a pen and paper handy, and on with the show. Thanks a lot. All right. Well, this is Pat Petrini. Thanks to everybody that's tuning in here. And I have the great pleasure of being on the phone with Tanya Aliza. Tanya, are you here with me?
I'm here, Pat.
All right. Well, Tanya, I really appreciate you spending some time with us here on the phone, and we couldn't be happier to have you participating in this project with us and helping to contribute to this book that we're putting out there. Just really appreciate you being part of everything with us.
Well, the pleasure is all mine. Absolutely. I mean, who could turn you guys down? You guys are awesome. You do a great deals for the industry, and the pleasure is completely all mine. So thank you.
Hey, likewise. Thank you. Now, where are you calling in from at the moment?
Currently, right now, I'm in North Carolina, specifically Wilmington.
Oh, okay, excellent. And I know that you just recently had gotten back from a trip. You were out in Ireland. You mind if I ask kind of, what that trip was about, kind of who you were out there with, kind of what you were up to?
Yeah, well, on top of working really hard, we like to play harder, but we have, over the years, just kind of aligned ourselves with some very influential marketers, and we're always growing and learning, and, we take a lot of vacations for work, and this time we just wanted to kind of take a play vacation, but we turned it into more of like a mastermind, and we went down with a couple of very influential marketers and great friends of ours as well, and we decided to, turn it into a mastermind plus great, trip with friends, and so we did a 9-day tour of Ireland, which was awesome. It was like a Irish folklore and pub tour, so you can imagine. We did a lot of drinking. We did a lot of masterminding, but we were down there with a little bit of singing. Oh my gosh. Yeah, oh my gosh. It was definitely good times and memories created. But we were down there with Ray Higdon, his wife Jessica Higdon. A lot of people know those guys. Yeah. And Tim Way, another great marketer out there, David Arriaga, Fernie Ceballos and his girlfriend. Yeah, we just kind of got the couples together. It doesn't really always happen that way, so we did like a couples trip, and we just had fun, man. It was great.
I love it. Well, that's one of the things that, if anybody goes and checks out your website, your blog, your Facebook, anything like that, it's very apparent that you work hard, but you also play hard, which, in my opinion, is the whole point anyway. So I love that.
Absolutely.
So, just real quick, just to introduce everybody, kind of give everybody that's listening a little bit of your background. I was reading through your bio that you have online, and you talk a little bit about, kind of where you were at just a few years ago, kind of a corporate job and kind of how you got introduced to network marketing. You mind kind of just giving us kind of the bullet points there of how that all happened, kind of where you were at and why you even decided to jump into network marketing?
Yeah. And I mean, if anybody listening to this, they don't have their story constructed, it's really important that you do. And it took me a few years to really figure out how to tell my story properly. So that's really important. And thanks for asking. I mean, here's me back 5 years ago. Well, it was 2009. So, yes, about 5 years ago. And I'm sitting in a very corporate job. I did financing for a very large automotive group in Vancouver, Canada, where I'm originally from. And I went right from school to work. Like, there was no playtime in between. So I think I was about 24, 25, and I realized, hey, I haven't done any traveling. I haven't seen the world. So I had this opportunity come up where I wanted to go travel a bit, and I thought, I want to take a couple of months to do that, kind of like how you and your gal are going down to South America soon here. It's great experience. You got to have these. So yeah. I was sitting in my job, and I was like, I want to go travel. So told my boss I was going to go travel. He said, when are you coming back? And I actually didn't think I would have my job when I got back, but I guess he liked me enough. So he said, well, if you give me a date that you're coming back, we'll get a sub for you, and you can go. So we ended up taking off for 2 months, and we traveled everywhere. We went down to Costa Rica, we went to Bali, we went to Thailand. We were like on 11 different planes in 2 months. It was really awesome. And when I got back, I went back to work, and I'm sitting in that same office, and I'm looking out the window, and I was like, man, I just want to travel. I just want to have freedom. I don't want to have to ask somebody if I can go on vacation. Like, I thought it was so strange, So I got back, and, it's crazy how when you put out energy and you start asking the right questions, things come into your world. So a girlfriend of mine introduced me to the 4-Hour Workweek, that book by Tim Ferriss. If you haven't read it, read it. It's amazing. That opened my world and opened my eyes to asking better questions. In my head, I kept going, what can I do? What can I do? What can I do? And a girlfriend of mine came up to me and all of a sudden invited me one night to a home meeting where I discovered network marketing. And network marketing kind of found me, and we started with a specific company at that time. And I saw it, and you know what, Pat, I had a very corporate mindset, so I liked the idea. I kind of got a little bit excited about it, but I didn't believe, right? So I didn't really go, oh, this is it. I was really skeptical. I was like those ones coming in that was really skeptical about, could this really, really work? Because it's so outside of the corporate world that we're bred into. So, I started to work it, and I didn't give it 100%. I gave it like 50%, to be honest, for the first year. And then what ended up happening is, unfortunately, my dad passed away in 2010, which was roughly a year after I started my business. And I had to take off work completely and just go and help the family out. And I went and I helped my family out, and I stayed away from work for about a month and a half. And along the month and a half, my work income completely stopped. Obviously, I wasn't at work, so I wasn't getting paid. But I still had residual income coming in from my home business. And it was like that little tiny moment where I could go spend time with the family where it was needed, and realizing I've got some income coming. I mean, it wasn't significant, but it was a little bit of income where I was like, this is cool. And I was like, that at that point in time is where everything shifted for me. And I said, I need to focus more on building my residual income side with my home business. It is this important. So that's kind of like where I started to really get serious with my business. And it took a while to get belief going, but that moment in time where I realized when I wasn't working, I was still making money, I was like, I need to focus more time where it's more important in my life, which is creating my residual income plan. So long story short, from then to now, this June actually coming up will be my 4th year of not having to go clock in at a job, which is really awesome.
I love it. Love it. That's awesome. And, one thing that I really, I kind of had a similar turning point of reading that same book, actually. This 4-Hour Workweek was a book that really kind of really kind of shot me in a different direction as well, mindset-wise. And so I love that was kind of in there as well. The other thing that you have on here is you talk about taking your business online. I particularly wanted to ask you a few questions about that because it's almost like, I guess it's almost a little bit of point of controversy for some people in network marketing. You have some people that are like warm market, like, and kind of beating that drum a lot. But there are people out there that are just knocking it out of the park with online lead generation strategies, online marketing strategies, and you happen to be one of those. So would you maybe talk a little bit about that, taking your business online, how you started kind of learning some of those strategies and kind of what that's done for your business?
Yeah, absolutely, because definitely the online world is a huge part of our business. I would be lying if I say that it wasn't. But just to preface before I explain, the online world isn't for everybody, okay? And what I say to my people that come up to me, and, I have coaching students and coaching clients on this, and they ask me, Tanya, I want to take my business, I want to do what you're doing online. I'll ask them a few questions just to make sure that it is going to be suitable for them. If somebody is not really techy or they get really frustrated with technology, I'm going to say build the business traditionally because both methods work. And a professional network marketer, if you want to really make it big, you have to embrace both ways. You have to embrace offline marketing strategies and online marketing strategies. And the problem that I see that most people come online out of weakness, not out of a way to rev up their business. And that's kind of the misconception that some people have. And I want to be very clear that if you want to add online strategies as a way to rev up, you're in the right mindset space. But if you're coming to online because you're like, I really want to build my business, but I don't want to talk to people, I just want to put a web page out there and people will automatically sign up, it doesn't happen like that.
Totally.
I mean, for network marketing, and it's very important to really understand that this is a people business, and to grow a big, large organization, whether it be in your local area or worldwide, you have to talk to people and you have to develop those skills. So what we do is we have a very transparent business where we teach online as well as offline because I believe it's very important if you really want to make it big to have both. But when we teach online, I mean, it's very simple. And the reason why I decided to come online was I had an opportunity to actually move to Costa Rica in 2011. And so I realized my business, my company, my network marketing company, didn't do business in Costa Rica yet. They just weren't open in that country. So I said, I want to build my business, but how do I do it while I'm there? So I kind of came to the internet as a way to keep my business going and sort of expand a little bit. So wasn't out of weakness. I was not out of tune with like wanting to talk to people. I just wanted a way to generate interested prospects into my world so I could get them on the phone while I was out of the country. And so that's kind of where I started to search about where and how you can really build your business online. And, we learned some strategies. I mean, there's a lot of people out there doing real complicated stuff, which I don't think you have to do to still get the same result. I mean, there's some very simple, even social media marketing strategies. I'm big into blogging and building your brand and kind of sharing stories about your company on your blog and things like that. But, just to make note, like coming online is great and you can really brand and get a lot of exposure for what you have. But there's a right way and there's also a wrong way to do it, and it's important to focus on the simplicity, the simple task to get you to, from point A to point B, the straightest line. And so we embrace both strategies. It's important to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I 100% agree. I've mostly been kind of built my business offline for the last 10 years or so, but I think, you had said people oftentimes, like, if they approach it out of weakness, a lot of people, I think that they look at online strategies as like kind of, it'll be easier if I throw up a website. I'm definitely looking to kind of learn from you and some other people about creating more of an online presence, but it's building relationships either way, right? Like, you got to put in the time, you got to build it, whether it's offline or online. It's actually building relationships with a community of people. Either way, it takes time and work.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I mean, in this day and age with, even now we're starting to see it with more and more companies. They're starting to become a little bit more social media aware, and they understand that you could find your people at Starbucks or Facebook. It doesn't matter. It's still a relationship that you need to build with somebody, right? People are people.
Right. Absolutely. So kind of jumping topics a little bit here, I wanted to ask you a little bit about mindset and actually kind of environment. One of the things that you had talked about is something that you had kind of learned from one of your mentors, from Ray Higdon, and he talks about pulling the weeds. Kind of, you had mentioned that was something that you had kind of focused on a little bit. Can you talk about, what does that mean exactly, and what are some examples of how you've kind of done that in your life?
Yeah, and oh my gosh, Ray is awesome, and his wife Jessica, they've been a huge, huge help with our business and, working with us. I've learned a lot from him. They've probably learned a lot from us. But, I've just recently invested in quite a large coaching program with Ray, actually, just to expand my mind into thinking bigger. I think sometimes, especially the people that really want to, go big in their businesses, we kind of hit, a plateau, or we kind of hit the tipping point where we're just like, we just need a little more. And that's where coaching and events and things like that, where you have to invest in yourself as a leader to kind of step it up. And one of the things that we just recently did is we invested in this coaching program. And one of the first things that he said was, you got to learn, and he says, how to pull the weeds out of your garden. And I said, okay, what does that mean? And he said, I bet you there's things that you're doing right now in your business that you can outsource to a lot for time, that you can open up time and add activities that you enjoy and do more of. So, for example, and I also actually learned this from Frank Kern, is to sit down and make a list of things you love and things you hate. And to use different language, we didn't use the word hate. We just said don't love so much. So, we'd have one side of the paper with things that we love to do in our business, even things that we love to do outside of our business, so passions, hobbies, things like that, because obviously you need to have balance. So we made a list of all the things we love, and then we made a list of things that we don't love so much. And we looked at that list and we said, okay, on that list of things that we don't love so much, how can we outsource those? How can we not do those anymore? Because I think a lot of the times in our business, there's things that you have to do that sometimes we got to learn to love to do. For example, pick up the phone, call people, to invite them to a presentation. I can bet you people don't love doing that, but it's just part of the process to get from point A to point B. So we can learn to love those things. But what are some of the things that we can do to outsource or do less of? And some of those little super simple things that I can bet a lot of people listening to this are doing that are taking up a lot of time. You're probably checking Facebook more than you need to a day. You're probably checking your email more than you need to a day. So how can you either get somebody else to do the things that you don't love so much? How can you hire that out? And there's great resources like Odesk, or even just Craigslist if there's things around the house. Something that I hated to do was clean a house. And that took a lot of time away from me calling on leads or calling on prospects. And so I would spend either 2 or 3 hours cleaning the house, And that would take time away from me calling prospects. So what I did is I called up a neighbor and I said, hey, do you know anybody that would clean my house? Or you go on Craigslist and find somebody or hire it out. So now we have somebody that comes in and cleans our house, and that time is now released to me to do the things that are going to make me money. So that is, some of the things that we've learned how to do. So that would be pulling the weeds in the garden, how to get rid of things that you don't enjoy doing, to make time for the things that you do enjoy doing, to create that balance and to focus more on the money-making activities in your business.
Now, on that same topic, I believe you had said that you do have a personal assistant, or is it a kind of a virtual assistant that you use?
Yeah.
So what are some of the what's that?
I said a couple of them. Yes.
A couple. Okay, gotcha. So what are some of the things that what are some of the different tasks that you might kind of outsource to your team of virtual assistants?
Sure. Just little things that and it depends and it changes all the time, but the more staple tasks that we have outsourced are like Facebook friend requests. So if I get a Facebook friend request, I've kind of reached my limit now with the 5,000, but I still want people to connect with me over on my fan page. So I have like a little copy-paste message that goes out to people requesting friendship to me through Facebook. I mean, it's a tedious little task, so I outsource it.
Absolutely.
Any creation of any kind of like marketing material or video editing that we have, because we employ some video marketing in our strategies. So we have any customer service. So if we have like a new teammate come on, we've got some, coaching packages that we also sell and things like that besides our network marketing team. But we also have, when a new member comes on board, whether it's in our network marketing company or one of our other programs, we have customer service outsourced to kind of increase the level of service, like a welcome call, an introduction into the Facebook group. Those are things that we could do, but I know how much my time is worth, and if I could outsource it and pay somebody even up to $8 an hour to do it, it's way worth it for me to get somebody else to do it. So those are just, and I've reduced my email checking to twice a day. Anything that requires a question to be answered that I can get my assistant to answer, I forward the email and I say, hey, can you answer that for them? And it just frees up a little bit of time. I mean, our business, we keep it very simple, because other people looking in are going to see what we're doing. And if we have just this huge, complicated array of stuff, they're going to see that and they're going to be turned away. So really we have, simple tasks. They're outsourced, right?
Right. And, of course, that frees you up to do the, two most important things, either be growing your business, using your skills and talents to actually really do the things that grow your business, or to be, like, having fun and enjoying life.
Totally. And you got to know, like, what your income-producing activities are. Every team is going to be a little bit different, but generally for all of network marketing, your income-producing activities are setting appointments for presentations, doing the presentation however you do it in your team, collecting a decision, and then getting them plugged into the community and getting them to training. So those are your main income activities, and also adding to your list every day, keeping that funnel full of honey, right? Prospects to talk to. So those are your income activities. Anything else in your network marketing business that you're doing is just extra stuff that you may need to pull those weeds and come focus back just into those income activities that you know exist.
Love it. So now jumping topics again here, I had asked you a little bit about in actually choosing a company, and we could talk a lot about this, but I asked you kind of what was the most important thing to you in actually kind of selecting a network marketing company or choosing a company you were going to align yourself with. And you had said mentorship, like the mentors that you might have access to. Now, obviously, you've already mentioned that you've invested heavily in a coaching program, and it's already obvious that you really value mentorship. But anything else that you might want to say on that? Like, why is that so important to have? Why is that number one in selecting a company for you?
Sure, and I think that's a great question. And I think that going back into, you've read, obviously, Pat, you've read Think and Grow Rich, right?
Sure, yep.
Okay, so if anybody, hasn't read the book, go read it. It's very valuable in your business. But in there, there's a lot of talk about masterminds. And a lot of wealth is produced through masterminds, right? You can't necessarily conquer the world or do anything massive all on yourself. And if you could, it would be very difficult. So I believe strongly as far as, creating wealth. You can go and create wealth anywhere. You can do anything, really, you can. But I think that if you align yourself with the right mastermind, that's even faster possible than doing it all yourself. So, for me, we've got kind of our alliance and who we work with. I always joke and I say, yeah, we're in a great company. We have a great product. Yes, absolutely. But I put way more weight on our team and our leadership than even the company that we're in. And that would go for any company. It didn't matter if we were in any company. Because I know with our mastermind and our mentorship and our leadership, if we were to go and sell peanut butter, we would be extraordinarily profitable still.
Right.
And it wouldn't matter where we go,
I love it.
So and it's you're going to get from point A to point B faster if you have the right coaching and mentorship and kind of somebody who's already carved that path through the snow that you can just kind of follow. And we have that, and, it wouldn't matter what company that we were in, we would have success with our group, with our team, with our mastermind, really.
Yeah, and we of course see that is that, there are sometimes, companies come and go for different reasons, but there are certain people that out there that just are out there killing it, however the circumstances may change. That it's more about the people that are out there just doing it than it is about the exact company or the product necessarily.
Sure, absolutely.
So now, one thing that I kind of thought was pretty cool when I asked you a little bit about your process of getting people started when you've got a new, distributor or associate that's on your team. You listed a couple of steps that you take them through, but one of the things that I particularly thought was cool is you said we celebrate the yeses and the nos big time in their first week. So what do you mean? Talk about that. Like, what do you mean you celebrate the yeses and the nos with them?
So we have fun, right? Nobody wants to have another job, all right? That's why you probably signed up into network marketing, is to have something different that's fun. And so when somebody comes in, the first thing that we want to do is we just want to get exposures happening. And then as the exposures happen, we just want to work and refine on the skill of inviting, what to say, how to say it, just get the people that we're bringing on board comfortable with the process. We also want to set them up for success and set their expectations. So we want to just let them know, hey, not everybody is going to say yes to this. And if you get a no, you're just one step closer to getting a yes. So we're just going to celebrate all the no's because those get us to the yeses, and we're going to celebrate all of the yeses as well. So when they get a no, it doesn't put them down. It actually lifts them up because we're celebrating it. So we're just setting expectations, having fun with it, and along the way getting the exposures. And, the skill comes from the doing. So we just get them into motion, get them into action, and really just kind of set the expectations. Hey, not everyone's going to say yes, but we're going to celebrate the yeses and the nos. We're going to have fun with it.
Yeah, I love it because definitely we've all seen where somebody comes on board and maybe they get their first no, and it's like the wind that was like instantly taken out of their sails. So I love that you guys kind of make some fun out of that.
We gamify everything if we can. Like we play games, we congratulate, we lift up our team. That way they are not afraid to get into action. We just want the action and the seeds to be planted, right? Yeah,
absolutely. So now this is kind of tying into the Miracle Morning a little bit. Kind of, I wanted to ask you just a little bit about your morning routine. It sounds like you have a pretty kind of routine morning routine that you go through You want to tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. So on most days, today would not be included. I think we're still getting back with we've been in Ireland, which was 5 hours ahead, and then we came back and we were in Texas, and we had to be up at like 6 in the morning every morning in Texas. So we're very weirdly organized with our time right now. But most days, here's the thing. A lot of people come in, they know what they need to do in their business to make things happen. And I think there's a lot of time that people waste sitting around thinking about what they have to do. Number one, they don't either know what to do, or number two, they're just overwhelmed because they don't have a plan. So the biggest thing, and I love the book Eat That Frog by Brian Tracy, because when I'm working on large projects or I'm going on a 90-day sprint, that book has allowed me to stay focused and actually writing things down and working my plan. So, plan your work, work your plan. So what I do on Sunday is I plan my day out, or I plan my week out from Sunday to Sunday. So I know Monday, and I'm looking at it right now. I have Sunday, what I do, Monday, what I do, Tuesday, what I do. So what happens is I could either decide, and there's maybe people on this call listening that have a job, and maybe you don't have a lot of time in the morning. You might have more time at night. But whatever that time is, you could either spend all day doing the small amount of tasks that you have to do to get the job done, or you could spend just a portion of that day getting all those done, be really efficient with your time, and play the rest of the day. I'm kind of the second option. I like to get all my work done in the shortest amount of time possible, and I like to play the rest of my day. So to do that, for me personally, I used to do it after work because I worked 6 days a week, 12 hours a day. I'm not a huge morning person. I've learned to be now, but everything had to be done after I was done work or my lunch break when I was working those long hours. And I wanted it badly enough that I just got it done. Now, when I'm obviously not employed anymore, I'm self-employed, but I decided I could get all of my work done all day. I could spend all day working my work, or I could condense it, get up a little bit earlier in the morning, and get it all done by noon. And then from noon to the rest of the day, I can play and focus on three-way calls or, team calls that I get from our organization. And that's what I decided to do. I decided to condense it, know what my activities are, I plan out my work so it's in front of me, staring at me in the face on a piece of paper on my desk, and I just wake up and I get it done. So things for me, and it's going to be different for you guys listening, but for me, I got to make sure that, I'm eating healthy, so I've got a healthy breakfast going in. I like to get to the gym or do yoga 3 times a week. Also, golf will be included in there now because the weather is nicer. I also know that I've got to get my marketing done. So my marketing is different. It's going to be different for you than me, but however you're adding people to your list every day, I like to do that really early in the morning. I like to get my marketing out of the way, and then I like to get my phone calls out of the way. Now, sometimes because phone calls are better received in the evening, normally from like 6 to 8 p.m., I'll call people around that time, but the majority of my other bit of work is normally done by noon just because I've planned out what I have to do, and I just get it done. I turn Facebook off, I turn the email off, I turn everything off, and I just get it done before noon. And I like that for me. But whatever it is for you, you guys need to find your time space that you can fit in your money-making activities and plan those out and just get her done.
I love it. And so you mentioned, is it pretty common? I know you said you like to do yoga a few times a week. Is meditation you had mentioned is kind of part of your routine? How frequently do you do that? And also kind of what do you feel some of the benefits that you've gotten from that?
Sure. I would say I read either right before I go to bed or I read right when I get up in the morning. Depends how early I'll get up. And I'll read 10 pages or a chapter of a good book. I read a lot, so there's a lot of books going through my, through my bookcase.
Sure, yeah.
But, and that, I think reading does a couple of things for me personally. It allows me to be a better communicator and pull more stories into my presenting. It also, I blog, so it also helps me to write my blog posts. Obviously, if you're reading, you're educating, keeping your mind fueled. Meditation for sure. And I like to say that I consistently meditate, but I'd say I meditate at least a couple of days a week consistently. But on top of that, there's other ways that we've decided to implement meditation because we're busy. Some people who are busy might like this. I'm a strong believer of affirmations. So we have little sticky notes like up where my computer is. I have some sticky notes like over in the bathroom, and those sticky notes are affirmations for attracting what we're wanting to attract at that point in our life. So right now I'm looking at one above my computer, and I'm looking to do a little bit more outsourcing for some project that I'm working on, and it just says, I'm so happy and grateful I found the perfect person. So that could resonate into a lot of things, the perfect person in your downline, the perfect teammate. But we have little affirmations all over the place because sometimes if we can't dedicate that 30 minutes or 15 minutes to meditation that day, at least throughout the day, we're seeing little bits of affirmations that allow us to attract what we want into our life, which is really important. I have a dream board as well, a vision board. Some people might have seen it on my Facebook, but I posted it. This is probably my 4th dream board because everything on my dream board, my vision board, keeps coming true, so I have to keep making a new one. But I mean, I'm looking at my vision board right now, and this falls into meditation and focusing on what you really want to attract in your life and in your business. I've got things like cruise winners, and then there's a picture of little Carnival cruise ship. I'd never been on a cruise when I made this vision board, and I'd never been on a cruise actually up until now, but this year, starting May 5th, we are going on 3 cruises, and 2 of them we won, which is really cool. And another thing I'm looking at is many $1,000 days. I wanted to have a $1,000 day in my business. When I made that, I did not have a $1,000 day in my business. To this point, I've had dozens of $1,000 days, which is awesome. So creating things and really focusing your energy on the right questions you ask yourself and the right items and right dreams is really, really, really important. And I'll tell you something, Pat, with my background, I'm very analytical background. I'm background in finance. I'm like a math person. I'm the person that has to see it to believe it rather than believe I can, attract it. I'm not a floofy kind of girl. But when somebody showed me The Secret, the book, the movie for the very first time, I didn't believe it. And I said, well, what the heck do I have to lose? And I just did it. And it's kind of freaky how well it works.
Yeah. I love it. Yeah, I can relate to that because I would say I actually had a similar reaction initially to watching The Secret, and I'm definitely kind of that analytical type as well. So it's funny hearing you say that. Now, one other piece here, kind of on just daily routine that I had noticed that you mentioned is journaling. You said what kind? You said you kind of keep sort of a daily log, or what type of journaling do you do? What benefits have you gotten out of that?
Yeah, journaling on, here's the biggest thing for me. I like to journal on everyday experiences because I pull stories out of that for my marketing or for my presentation. So I like to track as well what's happened in my business as far as my marketing and also my team goes so that I can reflect. You can always go back and you can go, okay, this is what I did over here and it worked, or this is what I did over here and it didn't work. So I like to journal on certain stories. We do a lot of 3-way calls for our team, and there's a lot of different people that we meet through these 3-way calls, and there's a lot of different stories that end up coming up and different ways that we handle objections. And so I'll journal that kind of stuff because if I don't journal about it, I'll forget it. And so I don't want to forget it, and I always want to be able to pull these stories out to share. For example, the other day we had a guy that I think he had been wanting to join our team for like a month, and he did some pretty crazy things to be able to financially commit to us. Like he did a couple of odd jobs shoveling snow. He asked his parents each for $50 to join. Like, he went through an incredible trek to join. And so I journal about that. We write that down so that we don't forget that story, because what ends up happening is you're going to talk to another person that's going to say, I really see an opportunity for myself here, but I don't have the money. And you can say, wait a minute, hey, listen, this is what this guy did over here. Because I journaled about it, I'll remember it. This is what this guy did over here to join. What can we think of that are some creative ideas like that so that you can join as quick as he did, being in his same situation? So, that's sort of some team stuff that I like to journal about and write stories about. I like to grab other people's stories if I don't have my own and journal about them so that I can pull those stories into my marketing and into my processes. And then another thing that I do is I do a lot of blogging and I do a lot of Facebook marketing. So I like to journal on what I've done, and some of it works really well and I'll remember it, and some of it doesn't work really well and I won't do it again.
Now, you had said that kind of growing up that you sort of grew up with this maybe kind of the family environment that you were in. It was kind of that sort of the mindset of if you want something done right, do it yourself, or you can't count on other people. You got to get it done right yourself, and you've really kind of reversed that. Talk a little bit about that.
My mom's going to hate me.
Uh-oh.
No, we talk about it.
Should I edit that out?
About it now. No, you don't have to edit it out. But, we talk about it, we laugh about it now, which is fine. We grow, right? We learn and grow.
Yeah.
So, just growing up, my mom's German, and we had a very, strict household, and it was just like, if you want things done right, you got to do them yourself, and that's just kind of what we were raised in. So you're raised like that. You come to think that that's the way it is. And network marketing, we can't build a network marketing big, massive organization like we want it to be by ourselves. Right? We need a team. We need other people. We need to learn to let go and get rid of that type A controlling personality. So it's been, it's something I'm continually still working on. I will probably work on it every day for the rest of my life. But it's really it's liberating to be able to kind of let it go a little bit and believe in people to be able to get the job done, and also bring up and inspire leaders within our team. Because with that mindset, thinking that you have to do everything yourself, you're not going to be able to breed leaders inside of your team. You're not going to be able to inspire them and lift them up as if they're better than you. And ultimately, we want people better than us on our team. We do.
Yep.
So, I really had to learn to let that go, which is, kind of just, I think when we all get started in network marketing, if we have a first recruit and we bring them on board, we tend to want to baby them and coddle them and make sure that they know every little bit of information, and we kind of like smother the crap out of them. But, we've learned to let go and be like, hey, here's the information you need. You got to, get trained a little bit, and then out the nest a little bit. I'm going to see if you can fly. That's been the hardest thing to do, but it's been the most rewarding.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right. It is like out of love that we sort of coddle them too much, right? We want the best for them, but because we're trying to help them every step of the way, and we really want them to see a success, but we literally hinder them by doing that if we're doing that too much. Totally,
and we've seen it time and time again. So the best thing to do is to inspire and breed up leaders and say, look, I'm looking to work with leaders, and leaders, they figure things out. They really do, and you got to let them figure things out. You got to let them fall down a little bit, and then see how they get up, right?
So last couple of things here is I'd asked you for any like kind of not so obvious tips. And one of the things you had said is remember the formula. What's the formula, and why is it so important?
And this is just something we've learned over the years. Definitely, the formula Pat was saying is give 1,000 times over before you take something. And I think the biggest thing to understand in our business is it's a people business, it's a relationship business. People don't care about your opportunity. They care about how it can add value and do things for them in their life. And our job is to give that value to them. And I think the more value that we can give out in the marketplace, the more that's going to come back into us. So, think about things that you can do for other people all the time outside of even your business. So what can you do for your neighbors? Can you just wave at them when you drive by in the morning? Think about whose birthday or anniversary it is, and can you send them a simple birthday or anniversary card? So many people go through life just thinking about themselves and how they can get for themselves without giving. And without the formula being intact, there's not going to be, a lot that you can build for yourself. If you look at every successful person, whether they're an entrepreneur or not, they've exercised that formula. They've given, and then the moment that they've said, hey, I've got this, opportunity, or I've got this really great product I'm recommending, because they've given so much value out, people have created an influence relationship with them, and it's almost like snapping fingers when people, say, hey, I've got this great product or opportunity, and then fingers are snapped and people are like, what is it? I want to know, right? It's just creating that level of influence that people are magnetically attracted to, and the way to do that is to find value every day that you can give out without expecting anything back in return.
And this is, correct me if I'm wrong, but kind of same formula online, as offline, of course. Building relationships is the same either way, but it's, if you're blogging, and I'm going off of what I've learned from people like yourself that have more experience than I do, but blogging, shooting out emails to an email list, posting on Facebook, giving value before you maybe make an offer or anything like that.
Exactly, yeah. And that's exactly the formula that we do. We give out so much free stuff to, get people to build that valuable relationship with us and trust us and build the credibility with us before we ever ask for a sale. And if you're in network marketing and your company gives you your little link that people can go and learn more about your product or service, I can guarantee right now, if you're posting it just on Facebook, like, hey, this is awesome, buy my stuff, link post, and you haven't given value, you're just spamming and sharing your link for people to join your opportunity or your product, it's not going to work. Yeah. So find a way that you can take a different angle. A perfect scenario that I see people do sometimes is say, I'll pick the health and wellness industry because there's a lot of health and wellness network marketing companies out there. If you've got a health and wellness product, think about the benefits and features that product gives people, and market that only. Share stories, share testimonials, and share value. And then at the end of that value or that story or that testimonial, that's the right place to say, oh, by the way, if you want to check out how these people did this with their bodies or lost this amount of weight and you want to learn more about their story, you can check out this link here. I'll post it and, get some more information. Right. And people are going to read the benefits. They're going to relate to those benefits and features way more than they are going to relate to just a link that's posted with no rhyme or reason or story behind it.
Well, Tanya, I can't tell you how much I appreciate having you on here and just the information that you shared with us all. You're like such a rock star, and we are just really excited to have you part of this project with us. Totally open-ended, any anything that I missed that you wanted to cover or touch on or anything like that I haven't asked you about?
Not really. I just want to say you guys are awesome, and I am very, very honored and blessed to be a part of your guys' book launch. It's going to be a massive success, number one. You're going to be able to help a lot of people with this book and be able to inspire a lot of people with this book. I'm glad we got connected, and I'm very excited for you guys' work in our industry. Anything that I can do to help your guys' community, you guys just let me know. I love connecting and aligning myself with great minds and great people like yourselves. And you guys, if you're listening to this and you're in network marketing, either just got in, been in for a while, the biggest thing that I had was a problem with belief. But now that I've been doing what I've been doing for 5+ years, this industry is worth it. It's not going to be easy, but it is worth it. And I want you guys to really understand what you have your hands on, and you can change the financial future of you and your family if you just give it 100% for 2 to 5 years. I promise you.
Absolutely. Well, and I just, again, glad to have you part of this and really looking forward to being able to work with you more in the future on future projects. So I just, again, really, really appreciate you being part of this, Tanya. So thanks a lot. And thanks, everybody that's tuning in here. Hey, this is Pat Petrini again, and just to wrap up really quickly, I just want to remind you that if you liked this interview, we've got a whole bunch more. If you go to our website, it's tmm4networkmarketers.com. That's TMM, like the Miracle Morning, FOR, networkmarketers.com. And, of course, if you haven't checked out the book yet, you can go to, first off, you get 2 free chapters of the book at tmm4networkmarketers.com. And then, of course, if you want to get the book, go to Amazon and just search for The Miracle Morning for networkmarketers.com, and you can get it paperback, Kindle, whatever. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope you really enjoy the rest of the content that we've made available for you. Thanks a lot. Again, my name is Pat Petrini, and I'll see you on the next interview.